Hey everybody, this is Jeff from Jeff's Vegetable Gardening Tips and Containers. You can see I was telling you I thought we'd be close to the first summer harvest, and you can see we got a bunch of squash and zucchini, cucumbers, peppers, peas, hot peppers, a bunch of stuff, and everything else is coming in. But I thought I'd see the first warm. We've done our cold weather harvest 3 or 4 this year earlier with cauliflower, broccoli, lettuces, all that stuff. A couple other harvests with different things, but this is the first warm weather harvest we did. I did have some strawberries in there, but I guess my wife got to them. You can see the hibiscus. I had it inside this winter, and it dropped all its leaves when I first put it outside, but it's coming back now. And it had a couple red flowers like that one on there, but they were blooming. But my assistant right there, who's hard to work on a job, she started eating flowers, so I guess that's another thing she's gonna do now for the gardening process. So we'll just keep moving on. I'm not going to spend too much time on anything. I just wanted to show you everything's progressing. I pulled a ton of strawberries off there. When I say a ton, for this time of year, it's quite a few, and the blueberries are definitely coming in, but I didn't really get to them because I was more on the vegetable harvest, going through everything is where I wanted to be. So I'm going to come over here and show you just kind of where we're at and how everything's coming in case you got any questions on where you should be at this time of the year, if you started when I did, and all that good stuff. First thing we're going to do, we're working up on a garden here, and you can see the difference in those sweet potatoes in just 2 weeks. It's just sometimes it'll blow you away once you get them going and you fertilize them right. You can see that. I think you can see it. Hold on, let's see if I can find it. Here it is, the purple eggplant growing down inside there. That one's coming up. Tomatoes, potatoes in the bucket behind it, more eggplant, the celery, everything is just, you can see the corn right there. It's everything's coming through. You look in here like these tomatoes. Well, of course, they're nowhere near ready, but these are the Roma type. If you look back in here, if I hold one, they're the Roma type that there's probably 30 or 40 on there right now. And, you can see the peppers on here. These are the hot chili peppers. They're coming in all over the place. That's looking at the little ones, that's cherry tomatoes there. This is another tomato here. I believe this is a big boy, but I have to wait because I didn't mark that like I normally mark everything. There's a close-up of the spaghetti squash right there. And as I told you, you'll see this spaghetti squash just takes over. It will take over this whole fence in this whole area and start wrapping around, so I have to be careful with it. But like I said, I normally get 4 or 5 off there, but I moved it this year from where I was before, and we're just going to have to see how it produces over here. And as long as it don't strangle, like you see my eggplant with the purple flower on it right there, that's growing nice. As long as it don't get to that. I pulled one of my yellow zucchinis out of there, that big one, and you can see there's 5 or 6 right there on that. The butternut squash is just going crazy, but it's not time for it. Same as these beans here, green beans. Hot weather, they'll really come up. They're bushing and everything, but they don't come out until then. They'll just start taking off and going everywhere, as you can see, and they will take over your garden too. But this butternut squash will take a little while to even produce. It leaves crazy. The 2 patty pan plants there, which are green, yellow, and white, will be within 3 weeks or so. They'll start coming real good. The yellow squash, you can see back inside there everywhere. There's 4 or 5 on there that are growing. The cucumbers I picked were off that cucumber bush right back there, and then this one I just cleaned it up a little bit, and it's got a couple producing on there, but nothing crazy. You can see the yellow flowers on the cantaloupe over there, and the other tomato that's coming out of there. I pulled the rest of the peas out of that bucket, you can see, and I'll be reseeding there. Tomatoes on the only side of there are the cucumbers, the yellow bucket behind with the yellow flowers. Sorry, not yellow, black bucket with yellow flowers. Everything else in the middle there is potatoes. I moved them from this garden over here this year and put them over there to see what they do. The purple cabbage will be coming up soon. Still have some kale growing there. All the tomatoes are going crazy. What I did today was I tied these baskets together, even though I don't like doing that much because they take so much room, these tomatoes. But in the cloth, the problem is in the cloth growing bags I use, the metal things don't support. I got to drive poles down and do different stuff. So this year I tied them together to see if they can support each other. For how long, I don't know. We're going to keep an eye on it. You can see that cucumber coming right back up in that square bucket back there. So I got to get that. See, it's not tied up. I have to get that tied up because that'll take off like crazy. Tied those together, and you can just see the peppers everywhere in here. And I picked, I don't know, 3 or 4 peppers off here already. That's more of a, I can't think of the name. It's a hybrid type of squash right there. More celery. You can see more cucumbers right back there, right in front, right behind the marigolds. You can see the big size of the tomatoes growing down in there. Peppers, some more strawberries. Everything is just, there is tomatoes on everything, even the smaller bushes. I picked 2 or 3 yellow smaller squash. These are striped squash, which I cut 2 off today. I normally let them get a little bigger, but since it's early in the year and it's not hot yet, you got to watch out for that blossom rot, which I told you. So we'll see how that goes. You look back there, you'll see there's right back down in there, get into there and there. There's 2 more zucchinis. There's the eggplant right there coming up. Eggplants normally don't come up. Eggplants come up and end of July, early August. That's when they'll start showing, and they grow all the way through September. There's a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's probably about 10 strawberries there, but they're just a couple days short of coming on there. You can see that if you look right there, you'll see that's an eggplant forming right there. It's real small with that purple flower right off the bottom of it. So these eggplants, they'll just, whenever you see a purple flower like on that one right back there, when you see that happening, they're forming their little purple ball inside the leaves, and they'll just keep going until they get to the full maturity size. There's tomatoes all over that bush, and that looks to be another Roma. I normally grow quite a few Romas. Another eggplant here, but I think this is a white eggplant here. I pulled some peppers off here the other day. I posted some pictures, full-size peppers, but these will start going crazy. These are the jalapeno-style peppers right there. You can see the cabbages just growing in there. In fact, I haven't used the old cabbage we got out earlier this year yet to make coleslaw, but I will. But it's good for 2 or 3 months. In the refrigerator normally. You can see that's a cherry tomato tree. You can see them all growing in there. Of course, that's a peach tree. This is another cucumber here, but this one's doing real well. I don't see anything bad with it at all, except that it's just not ready to produce yet, but I put it in later than the others, so we'll give it a few weeks. It's another cherry tomato in there. Another cantaloupe there. 2 more tomato bushes back in there. This is a big boy here, so I have to watch how it does. This is an English style cucumber, and if you look down in there, you'll see it's kind of long. That plant's struggling a little bit. I ain't figured that one out yet. I'm going to keep playing with it, but those get to be 8 inches to a foot long, so they'll start coming up soon. Watermelon's been struggling this year for some reason. I can't answer that question, not like normal. Same as the melon, but everything else has been going. I think it's just too much rain. That is actually zucchini. You can see one growing in there, but I took 2 of them off here earlier today, which I posted in a photo of stuff. I think I showed it earlier in this video. This is yellow squash. You'll see one down in there, 2. So they're just getting to their growth period right now. The bell peppers are on here. You can see them back in there. That's purple peppers. I already took a couple of them on my first pick. This is yellow zucchini. This one was one of the ones that had quite a bit of a blossom rot with it, and I couldn't figure out why, because it gets a lot of sun, but I'm just keeping an eye on it now, and did some other fertilizing with it. Another, that's a yellow squash back there. That's an eggplant. You see the purple flower, so it's getting real close These tomatoes are all on here everywhere, and these are grape. You can see them here. They're all grape type, like a Roma tomato. These are the blooming onions down in there. Not sold on them yet, but we're going to see how they grow. This is another type of tomato in here. This is all those potatoes we planted months and months ago down in there, but they're just the, what are the potatoes called? Purple, red, and oh, another zucchini right there. You can see on that yellow flowering bush in front of me. That cauliflower is struggling a bit there, but it has been kept up with. Purple, red, and Yukon potatoes are in that bed I just showed you. I picked a massive cucumber off that yellow flowering cucumber bush there about 3 or 4 days ago, and there's a couple growing on the back, so I expect quite a bit more out of that. You can see the purple flowers coming up there. That's actually potatoes, believe it or not. And that's tomatoes next to it, but that's actually potatoes. That's actually potatoes. And those 3 or 4 big buckets back in there is potatoes. And one of them, I put a tomato bush in top of, just so it's such a big thing, and I got so many potatoes. This old kale I'll be ripping out here this week and putting something else in that bucket. Sweet potatoes are coming up in there, nice. Of course, we got the purple cauliflower growing and the lettuce. Celery. So we're really in pretty good shape where we wanted to be with everything. I had a good harvest today, decent harvest early, late last week. Wasn't warm enough for us to have a harvest then. I said we had a harvest earlier this year. Probably the only other thing I've done recently, well, of course, cut the grass twice a week because of all the rain and weed whack and grass seed and you name it, trying to keep up with an acre worth of ground. But back in this area is where I lost like 18 trees of that tornado a year ago. Maybe it was a year before, I have to look back. But I planted seedlings in here that I found around a perimeter yard, and you can see how that's doing. And that's another seedling I put in right there. And there's another seedling. This one's struggling a little bit more, so I have to maybe mulch that one up a little bit. The other one's doing pretty good. This seedling's doing real good here, as you can see. And they've made it through the first winter. So typically if they make it through the first winter, they'll continue to progress and grow. We got another one here. And then I got that one growing there, which I have to trim back. But everything's growing real good. You can see that is Oberon, who is Brandy's best buddy, and they come over here and they play. Whenever Oberon time they come over, and they're just like the best buddies. They do everything together. Chew everything up, don't you, Obi? But just wanted to give an update of where we were with everything, lemon trees, all the other things I planted recently. Here comes Abby to come out and terrorize Oberon. They're ready to play again, but they're so funny together, it just tears me up. That's my gardener and her best friend. But we'll just keep working and going forward. All right, guys, I appreciate when you go out to Jeff's Gardening Tips and Containers on YouTube and like and subscribe to the page. It just helps put the videos out, helps everything keep going, progressing, and the needs and questions and whatever you got. Like I said, you get a chance, go out and like and subscribe on the YouTube page, Jeff's Gardening Tips and Containers. Also go out on Instagram. We got Jeff's Vegetable Gardening Tips and Containers on YouTube too, and just show pictures and the way we do things and our harvest and stuff like that. All right, everybody, have a great day. From me and my assistant and her buddy over there running around with a plastic jug, which is like the best thing in the world to these guys. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll be talking to you soon.